Welcome to Family Science Part 3. Our little family is expanding, and now we're going to get into beyond just the nuclear family into more extended family. So first let's talk about grandparents. So we already talked about the sign dad, right? So your grandfather is, kind of theoretically speaking, your father's father. And originally that's how it was signed, two-handed like that, father, grandfather. But nowadays we just take one hand and then we move it out, grandpa. Some people bounce it, some people just move it forward once, but the point is it has to move forward, otherwise it's just dad. You won't see anybody sign it this way anymore, but that was originally the sign. Grandfather. And grandma, same thing, grandma or grandma. Now, there's always got to be that one kind of tricky sign that has to break the rules and has to be different. And for some reason, beyond explanation, grandson and granddaughter doesn't have a sign. You think some proud grandma somewhere, some proud deaf grandma somewhere would come up with one, but it has not spread to the rest of the deaf community. So you have to spell grand and then sign son. Spell grand and then sign daughter. So grandson, granddaughter. And most people are not going to take the time to be like, it's very quick, grand. So just keep that in mind. All right, your uncle, that's your brother or so that would be your mom or your dad's brother, uncle. So it's a U hand next to your forehead and it shakes. Some people do circles. Uncle. Aunt is an A by your chin. It also shakes or again can do circles. In that same vein, you have nephew, that's an N. Kind of palm in or shakes at the forehead or circles, and niece is down at your chin. Now this one is a little different. This makes total sense in ASL. It's only wacky in English, so once you kind of figure that out, this gets easier. For some strange reason, we have gender labels for everything in English: brother, sister, mother, father, aunt, uncle, all of that, until we get to cousin. And then cousin is gender neutral. But in ASL, we can show gender. So if it's a male cousin, it goes up by your temple. And again, it's a C that shakes. If it's a female cousin, she goes down by your chin, and it's a C that shakes. We can't, if you're talking about like, I have 17 cousins, or if I want to ask you how many cousins you have, I can kind of sign it in the middle. Right? So cousins, because that's just sort of in general. I don't mean just male cousins. I want to know how many cousins you have all together. So if it's kind of a vague term, you can put it in the middle. Or if you wanted to say, I have 17 cousins. Because, so I have cousins, 17. Because cousins is your topic, 17 is your comment. All right, next we have the sign in-laws. In-laws. So this goes with the sign like mother-in-law. That's my husband's mom. Father-in-law. Brother-in-law. That would be my sister's husband, would be my brother-in-law. That means you are related. The reason we use the sign law, and this is also a sign like, oh, you know, the law says you have to drive below the speed limit, right? That's also the sign for that. The reason we use that with families because you're only related to them through marriage, which is a legal contract. You're not related to them by blood. Okay, so that's why it's the sign law, why we use that word in English. So, sister-in-law, father-in-law. We also have the sign people. So we already talked about the agent marker, that's a person, right? But that usually goes with another sign. That doesn't usually go by itself. You can sign person, or you can also sign people. So instead of one person, it's lots of people. Or the older sign people. So it's P hands that make alternating circles backwards. And one more sign for you today, from. Your weak hand is a 1, palm out. Your dominant hand is an X. Your fingernails touch and then you pull it towards you. So like, my grandma is from Oklahoma. From. All right, I hope that gives you some more information to talk about family. Happy signing.